I wasn't supposed to be home that night. That's the part that still gets me. If my patient hadn't canceled last minute, if traffic hadn't cleared up weirdly fast, if I had stopped for groceries like I planned, I would have walked into my own life 1 hour later, smiling, tired, completely clueless. And maybe that's what hurts the most. Not that he cheated, not even who he cheated with, but how normal my day had been before everything cracked open. Like the universe really said, "Girl, buckle up." It was 7:42 p.m., cold outside, late fall, the kind of weather where the air feels sharp enough to cut through your coat. I remember checking my reflection in the rearview mirror before pulling into the driveway. Mascara slightly smudged, hair messy from a long shift, exhausted, hungry, ready to peel off my scrubs, microwave leftovers, and rot on the couch for exactly 45 minutes before pretending to be productive again. That was the plan. Simple, boring, safe. My house looked normal. Porch light on, kitchen window glowing warm yellow. A life I had spent 6 years building brick by emotional brick. My husband's truck was there, nothing unusual. Until I stepped onto the porch. That's when I saw them. A pair of heels. Black patent leather. Not mine. Not a guest's either. Because I knew those shoes. Rebecca's. My husband's younger sister. 28, fresh off her second failed engagement, and permanently allergic to accountability. The family treated her like a fragile little bird with broken wings. I treated her like family. Big mistake. I stared at those shoes for maybe 3 seconds. Not long, but long enough for my body to know before my brain did. Something was wrong. Bad wrong. My stomach dropped so hard it actually hurt, like missing a step in the dark, like your organs suddenly realizing they're not safe. I unlocked the front door. Quiet. Too quiet. Not TV quiet, not reading quiet, not normal quiet. The kind of silence that has shape, weight, intent. I stepped inside. The living room lamp was on, blanket folded neatly over the couch, my coffee mug from that morning still sitting on the side table, lipstick stain on the rim, tiny evidence of a woman who still thought her marriage was intact. Cute. The house smelled like vanilla candles and sex, that sickly, warm smell that shouldn't exist outside a bedroom. My pulse went cold. Not fast, cold, like ice moving through veins. I didn't call out, didn't say hello, didn't ask if anyone was home. Some primitive part of me had already gone silent. I walked down the hallway, slow, measured, almost calm, like my nervous system had decided to switch into airplane mode. The bedroom door was cracked open, light spilling through, movement, a laugh, her laugh, low and breathy. I pushed the door open, and there they were. My husband, half naked, in my bed, hands on her waist, her hair spread across my pillow like she paid rent. For one weird second, the whole scene looked fake, like a paused movie, too cinematic to belong to real life. Then my husband looked up, and everything snapped into focus. His face, pure horror, the kind you can't fake. Not guilt, not shame, fear. Oh my God. That's all he got out. Rebecca gasped and yanked the sheet up dramatically, because apparently even homewreckers care about modesty at the weirdest times. No one moved. No one breathed. And here's the wildest part. I didn't scream, didn't cry, didn't throw a lamp, didn't go full reality show meltdown. No dramatic, how could you? Nothing. I just looked, really looked, at both of them. And suddenly everything made sense. All the little moments I'd brushed off, the private jokes, The extra texts, her always showing up randomly, the way he defended her like it was his side hustle, the way she touched his arm a little too long, the tension I kept gaslighting myself out of noticing. It all clicked so hard I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was obvious, and I had missed it. No, not missed it, ignored it. There's a difference. I turned around, walked out, just like that. Behind me, chaos erupted. Wait, babe, please. Footsteps, fast, panicked. He caught up to me in the hallway, barefoot, breathing hard, hands out like he could physically stop consequences. This isn't what it looks like. I paused, turned slowly, looked him dead in the face, and said, "That sentence should be illegal." He blinked, like even he knew how stupid that sounded. "Please," he said, "just let me explain." "Explain? Sir, you are half naked in my house with your sister in my bed. What exactly are we clarifying here? The weather?" I grabbed my purse from the chair. Phone, wallet, keys. Basic survival pack. He followed me all the way to the front door, voice cracking. "Please don't leave like this." I finally looked at him fully. Really looked. This man I had loved for 6 years, built routines with, built dreams with, built a future with. And all I could think was, wow, I really married someone with the emotional intelligence of expired yogurt. He looked terrified, but not because he hurt me, because he was losing control. That distinction changed everything. "I made a mistake," he whispered. I nodded. "No," I said calmly. "A mistake is using salt instead of sugar." I opened the door. This was a decision, probably several. Then I left. No slam, no scene, just gone. The cold air hit my face like reality. He followed me onto the porch, still talking, still begging, still performing urgency. I got in my car, locked the doors, started the engine. He stood there in the driveway, barefoot, shirtless, looking like a man who had just accidentally set his own life on fire. Good. I drove. No destination, just motion. Streetlights blurred, radio off, hands steady, somehow. Too steady. That scared me more than anything. At a red light, my phone buzzed. One text. From him. "Please come back. We can fix this." I laughed. Actually laughed. Alone in my car, like a mildly unstable villain. Fix this? Bro, this isn't IKEA furniture. You can't just tighten a few screws and call it a day. I booked a hotel 10 minutes later. Nothing fancy, just clean sheets and zero betrayal vibes. The front desk clerk smiled politely. "Checking in for one?" Yes. Felt symbolic, somehow. The room was beige and forgettable. Perfect. I sat on the edge of the bed, shoes still on, coat still zipped, phone buzzing nonstop, calls, texts, voicemails. I ignored them all. Then another message came through, not from him, from Rebecca. "I'm so sorry, it just happened." I stared at the message for a full 10 seconds, then typed back exactly 5 words. "Gravity happens. This was scheduling." Blocked. Immediately. Then him again. "Please answer. I love you." That one made me tired. Not sad, tired. Love is such a convenient word when your options are collapsing. I set the phone down, looked at the ceiling, and finally let myself feel it. Not heartbreak, not yet. First came humiliation, hot and ugly, like embarrassment wearing grief's outfit. How long? That was the question clawing at me. How long had I been the punchline in a joke no one bothered telling me? Days? Weeks? Months? Had they laughed about it? Texted while I cooked dinner? Made eye contact across rooms while I played hostess? That thought nearly broke me. Not the sex, the disrespect. That's what people don't talk about enough. Cheating isn't just betrayal, it's theft of dignity, of informed consent in your own damn life. I sat up, grabbed my phone, opened contacts, scrolled to a number I saved 2 years ago and hoped I'd never need. Maya Collins, divorce attorney, a patient's recommendation, sharp as hell, no nonsense, expensive, worth every penny, probably. I typed, "Need consultation ASAP. Husband cheated. Situation complicated. Can meet tomorrow?" Sent. 3 minutes later, 9 a.m. Bring financial documents if possible. That was it. No pity, no emojis, no soft language, just business. I liked her already. For the first time all night, I exhaled, slow, deep, intentional, because suddenly the path was visible. Not emotionally, logistically. And honestly, that saved me. People think heartbreak is dramatic. For me, it became administrative, a checklist, a project, a controlled demolition. I stood, went to the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror. Same face, same eyes, same woman, and yet not. Something had shifted permanently. Not broken, sharpened. There's a difference. I touched the counter, cold marble under my fingertips, grounding, real. And quietly, almost casually, I said to my reflection, "You have exactly one opportunity to handle this like the woman you're about to become. Not the woman I had been, not the forgiving one, not the one always choosing peace over self-respect. No. That girl had expired around 7:42 p.m., and honestly, rest in peace. I washed my face, changed into hotel pajamas that somehow made me feel like a divorced suburban assassin, then climbed into bed, alone, safe, wide awake. Outside, cars hissed across wet pavement. Inside, my phone lit up again. Another text from him. "Please, just tell me where you are." I stared at it, then locked the phone, set it face down, and smiled for the first time all night. Because for the first time in years, he didn't know where I was. And that felt like power. I didn't slam the door. That's the part people always expect when they hear a story like mine. They expect shattered glass, screaming, maybe me throwing his clothes into the yard like some messy reality TV finale. But life doesn't always crack open with drama. Sometimes it just goes quiet. Too quiet. And that silence, it'll tell you everything. When I drove away from my house that night, I wasn't crying. Not yet. I had both hands locked around the steering wheel so tight my fingers hurt, my wedding ring pressing cold into my skin like it suddenly belonged to somebody else. Streetlights blurred past. Red, yellow, green. Move. Stop. Move again. Like nothing had happened. Like the world didn't care that 10 minutes ago I had watched my husband betray me in the most disgusting, cliché way possible. Not with some random woman, not even with a stranger. With Rebecca, my sister-in-law, my husband's brother's wife. Real classy, like some cheap soap opera nobody asked for. I pulled into a hotel parking lot 20 minutes later. Nothing fancy, just one of those off the highway with fake plants in the lobby and carpets that smell like cleaning chemicals and old regret. Perfect. The guy at the front desk barely looked at me. "Checking in?" "Yep." One night, I hesitated. How long does it take for your life to collapse? Not sure yet. He slid the keycard across the desk like this was just another Thursday. Technically, I guess it was. Room 214, second floor, ice machine humming at the end of the hallway, a couple arguing softly behind one door, TV blasting sports behind another. Ordinary sounds, ordinary lives. Meanwhile, mine had just been hit by a wrecking ball. Inside the room, I dropped my bag on a chair and sat on the edge of the bed. My phone buzzed instantly. Ethan, of course. I stared at his name until the call stopped. Then another message. Baby, please answer me. Another. It isn't what it looked like. I laughed. Actually laughed. Because, wow, that sentence. That ancient, dusty, recycled lie. Like I hadn't just seen him half naked in my own bed. What exactly was I supposed to think? Maybe they were doing yoga? Tax planning? A trust fall exercise? Please. I tossed my phone onto the bed and leaned back, staring at the popcorn ceiling. That was when the shaking started. Not dramatic, just small, tiny tremors in my hands, like my body was finally catching up to what my brain already knew. This marriage was over. Not damaged, not going through a rough patch, not something we could work on. Dead. Flatlined. No pulse. And weirdly, that truth felt cleaner than denial. Painful, sure, but clean. You ever realize you've been carrying a weight so long you forgot it was heavy until somebody finally takes it off your shoulders? That's what it felt like. Not freedom, exactly, but the first ugly version of it. Raw, sharp, uncomfortable, necessary. I sat up and grabbed my phone. Not to text him, not to cry to a friend, not to spiral. I opened my contacts and scrolled to a name I'd saved almost 3 years ago. Nina Alvarez, attorney. A friend of a patient insisted I keep her info, just in case. At the time, I laughed. Now? Turns out life loves irony. I typed, Hi Nina, this is Ava Monroe. I need a consultation ASAP. Divorce. Urgent. Short, clean, no emotion. Sent. Less than 3 minutes later, tomorrow, 8:30 a.m., my office. Bring financial documents if possible. That was it. No sympathy paragraphs, no dramatic questions, just business. Honestly, I respected that. I needed business, not comfort. Comfort was dangerous right now. Comfort makes you nostalgic, makes you remember the cute stuff, the first dates, the lazy Sundays, the inside jokes, the version of them you fell for. And nostalgia is a scam, a very expensive scam. Because while you're busy mourning memories, reality is standing in your bedroom wearing your husband's shirt. No thanks. I got up and went into the bathroom. Harsh fluorescent light, tired eyes, mascara smudged under one eye, hair slightly frizzy from humidity. I looked normal. That was the weirdest part. I didn't look like a woman whose marriage had just detonated. I looked like somebody who forgot to moisturize. I splashed cold water on my face. Then I noticed it. My ring. Still on my finger. Simple platinum band. Nothing flashy. Ethan had picked himself after spending weeks pretending to care about ethical sourcing and minimalist elegance. Cute. I twisted it once, twice, pulled it off, set it on the sink, and just stared at it. Crazy how much symbolism can fit into one tiny object. 5 years of marriage, 7 years together, reduced to a small metal circle next to hotel soap. I left it there, not as a dramatic statement, just because I didn't want it touching me anymore. That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw flashes. Rebecca's face, my pillow, his expression when he realized I was standing there. Pure panic. Not guilt, not shame, panic. That mattered, because guilt says, I hurt you. Panic says, I got caught. Big difference. Huge. At 6:12 a.m., I gave up on sleep completely. Showered, pulled my hair into a bun, ordered bad hotel coffee, and mentally built a checklist. House, accounts, passwords, insurance, documents, lawyer. No emotion, just logistics. You can fall apart later. Handle business first. By 8:25, I was sitting across from Nina Alvarez. Her office was sleek and intimidating in a way I appreciated. Dark wood desk, sharp angles, everything looked expensive, like chaos wasn't allowed inside those walls. She looked at me over black-framed glasses. Tell me everything. So I did. Not the emotional version, the factual version. My husband cheating. With his sister-in-law. In my house. Property purchased before marriage. Mortgage under my name. Primary income mine. Joint accounts existed, but heavily funded by me. No children, no shared business interests. She listened without interrupting, just notes, questions, more notes. Finally, she leaned back. Well, she said, that's a disaster personally. Pause. But legally, honestly, you're in a pretty strong position. Music to my ears. How strong? The house is yours? Yes. Purchased before marriage? Yes. Title only under you? Yes. She nodded. Good. Not good emotionally, obviously, but strategically, chef's kiss. She asked for account access details, retirement info, recent transactions, insurance policies, beneficiaries, all the deeply unromantic things nobody thinks about when they're picking wedding centerpieces. Marriage is wild. You promise forever under fairy lights, and then 5 years later, you're discussing asset protection over legal pads. Love really said, plot twist. Before I left, Nina gave me a list. Change all passwords immediately. Freeze shared credit lines if needed. Secure documentation. Do not warn him. That last one mattered. Why? Because people get weird when consequences arrive, she said. Sometimes dishonest people become even more dishonest under pressure. Fair. Very fair. I spent the rest of the afternoon like a woman on a mission. Bank apps, password resets, credit monitoring, email changes, cloud storage, phone carrier PIN, streaming services. Honestly, changing passwords after betrayal is a deeply satisfying hobby. Little acts of reclamation, tiny digital boundaries. Mine, still mine. Then I checked our joint account and found something interesting. Several small transfers. Nothing huge, but enough to be noticeable if you were looking. $420, $315, $600. Different dates, different recipients. I didn't recognize the account numbers, but I had a guess. Rebecca. Cute. So not only was he sleeping with her, he was likely funding her too. A 2-for-1 betrayal special. Love that for me. I screenshotted everything, sent copies to Nina, locked the account settings, then sat back in my rental car outside my own house, watching, waiting. Ethan's car was still there. I watched him pace through the living room window with his phone glued to his ear, probably calling damage control. Too late, buddy. Way too late. About 20 minutes later, he left. Fast. Didn't even look around. Good. I waited another minute, then went inside. The house felt contaminated. Not physically, energetically, like the walls knew something I didn't want to know. I moved quickly. Important documents first. Safe folder from office drawer, passport, tax returns, mortgage file, insurance paperwork, birth certificate, medical licensing docs. Then clothes, essentials only. Not sentimental. Not yet. This wasn't grief packing, this was extraction. As I zipped my suitcase, my phone buzzed again. A voicemail. From Rebecca. Oh, absolutely not. Still, curiosity won. I played it. Ava, hey, listen, I know this looks really bad. Stopped it right there, because no, there are many things in life I'm willing to hear. That was not one of them. I deleted it instantly, then grabbed my suitcase and headed downstairs. That's when I heard the front door open. Too soon. Ethan. Of course. Perfect timing. He froze in the entryway when he saw me, suitcase in hand, documents tucked under my arm. His face went pale. Ava. I kept walking. Wait. He stepped forward. Ava, please. There was something almost pathetic about how desperate he looked. Hair messy, shirt wrinkled, eyes red, as if he was the victim here. Wild. You cheated on me with your brother's wife. I said it plainly. Let it sit in the air. Ugly, accurate, undeniable. His face twisted. It wasn't. I held up my hand. Don't. Just don't. He shut up. Good choice. I walked to the door, hand on knob, then paused, turned back, and looked at him one last time. Not with rage, not heartbreak, just clarity. Crystal clear. I said, You should start preparing. For what? His voice cracked. I gave him the smallest smile. For the consequences. Then I walked out, and this time, I didn't look back. Monday morning came with that weird kind of calm that feels fake, like the universe is trying a little too hard to act normal. Sunlight through the blinds, coffee brewing, people walking dogs outside my rental like nobody's life was currently being dismantled in high definition. Meanwhile, mine was moving with terrifying efficiency. At 9:12 a.m., Nina texted me. Filed. One word. Beautiful word. Clean, final, elegant. Like a tiny legal mic drop. By 10:47, Ethan had officially been served. I know the exact time because my phone started exploding like it had personally offended him. Call after call. Text after text. No gaps. Just chaos. Ava, what the hell? You filed? Are you serious right now? Please talk to me. Don't do this. The funniest part? People always say don't do this like the thing isn't already done. Sir, you did this. I'm just responding accordingly. Big difference. I muted my phone and went to work. Yes, work. Because life doesn't pause for betrayal. Bills still bill, patients still need appointments, and heartbreak, unfortunately, does not qualify as PTO. The clinic felt oddly comforting, predictable, controlled. Clean lighting, clean schedules, clean problems. Nothing emotionally radioactive. At least until lunch. That's when my phone lit up again. Not Ethan, his mother, Deborah. Wonderful. I let it ring. Voicemail. Then another call. Then another. Persistent, like audacity ran in the family. Eventually, curiosity got me. I played the voicemail while sitting alone in my car with a sad salad I had no intention of eating. Ava. Her voice was already loaded. Never a good sign. I just got off the phone with Ethan, and frankly, I am shocked. Cool. Same. He says you filed for divorce without even speaking to him properly. Improper legal betrayal etiquette, apparently. Interesting concern. This is not how adults handle marriage. I paused the message. Actually laughed. Not a cute laugh either. A full, exhausted, borderline villain laugh. Because, wow, apparently finding your husband inside your own marriage-shaped dumpster fire and immediately filing paperwork is somehow the immature move. Noted. I pressed play again. We need to sit down as a family and discuss this before you make a mistake you can't undo. Before I make a mistake. Amazing. Not when her son was doing cardio in my bedroom with a family member. No. The mistake is me reacting with legal precision. Love the priorities. I deleted the voicemail, blocked her number. Felt incredible. Highly recommend. By Wednesday, Ethan had escalated from frantic texting to full in-person ambush. I was walking out of work around 5:30 when I saw him leaning at my car, hands in pockets, looking like a man auditioning for a low-budget regret commercial. I stopped, not because I was scared, mostly because, wow, bold move. He straightened immediately. Ava, I sighed. Do you know what boundaries are? I just need 5 minutes. No. Please. That word again. Always please. As if politeness can patch betrayal. He stepped closer. Not aggressively, just desperately. There's a difference. His face looked rough. Poor sleep, stubble, wrinkled shirt, like accountability had finally started moisturizing from the inside. Good. You filed for divorce without even talking to me. Still stuck on that, huh? I folded my arms. What exactly did you think walking in on you with Rebecca counted as? His face tightened. That's not fair. I blinked. Not fair? Dangerous words, honestly. The kind that make you realize somebody has learned absolutely nothing. He ran a hand through his hair. It was a mistake. Ah, yes, the classic. A mistake. Like accidentally sending an email too early, not systematically betraying your wife in her own home. My guy was really committed to minimizing. It didn't mean anything. Another favorite. That one always fascinates me, because somehow cheating is supposed to feel less offensive if it was meaningless. So let me get this straight. You detonated our marriage for something meaningless. That's your defense? Bold strategy. I tilted my head. That actually makes it worse. He looked genuinely confused, like this possibility had never occurred to him. Amazing. Ava, come on. He lowered his voice. 7 years. You're throwing all of that away over one bad decision. There it was again, that magical little word, one. As if betrayal is math, as if quantity matters more than character. I stared at him, really stared. And suddenly, something clicked. Not emotionally, mentally. I saw him, clearly, maybe for the first time. Not the version I married, not the version I defended, not the version I kept editing in my head to make our relationship make sense. Just him. A man genuinely confused that consequences had arrived. That was it. That was the heartbreak. Not the cheating, not Rebecca, not even the humiliation. It was realizing this man had been emotionally outsourced for years, and I had mistaken potential for substance. Brutal. Liberating. Ava? His voice pulled me back. I exhaled slowly. You keep calling it one mistake. It was. No. My voice stayed calm, steady. It was one discovery. That hit. You could actually see it land. His whole posture changed. Slight recoil, micro-flinch. Truth is sharp like that. Because suddenly the narrative shifted. Not one moment, one reveal. A reveal suggests history, pattern, continuation. And judging by his face, I was right. Interesting. Very interesting. He looked away first. Tiny detail, massive meaning. I almost smiled. How long? I asked. Silence. Bingo. How very telling. Ava? How long? Long pause. Too long. Then quietly, 4 months. There it was, the actual betrayal. Not one bad night, not spontaneous stupidity, a 4-month side quest with my sister-in-law. Deliciously horrifying. Honestly, thank God I was already standing because emotionally, that one had knees. 4 months. Birthdays, dinners, family events, normal conversations, morning coffee, movie nights, holiday planning, all while he was running a disgusting little subplot behind my back. The sheer admin of deception is exhausting. I almost respected the time management. Almost. He stepped closer. It started after her separation, like context would somehow help. Sir, this is not a documentary. I do not need origin lore. No details, I said. Please. He shut up. Finally. Learning. Slowly. Painfully. I never meant to hurt you. That line. That tired little line. I shook my head. That's the problem. He frowned. What? You didn't mean anything. He looked confused, so I clarified. You didn't mean to hurt me, didn't mean to betray me, didn't mean to get caught, didn't mean to lose your marriage. I paused, but somehow all of it still happened. Silence. Intent doesn't magically erase impact. Nothing. Just his face slowly folding under the weight of reality. Good. About time. A breeze moved through the parking lot. Cold. Sharp. Evening settling in. People walked past us carrying groceries and gym bags and tiny, ordinary problems. No one knew they were witnessing the post-mortem of my marriage. Felt weirdly poetic. He rubbed his face. So that's it? I thought about that. Really thought, because 7 years deserves at least one honest answer. Yes. No hesitation. No softness, no maybe, just truth. Yes. He swallowed hard, tears in his eyes now, real ones. Not strategic, not manipulative, just late. Very, very late. And somehow that made me feel nothing. Not satisfaction, not cruelty. Nothing. That's how you know it's over. Not when you stop loving them, not even when you stop hurting. When their pain no longer rearranges you, that's the end. He nodded slowly, like a man receiving news his body already knew. Okay. Small word, heavy word. He stepped back. Finally, respecting distance after destroying intimacy. What a plot twist. I unlocked my car, opened the door, then paused. One last thing. Not for revenge, for accuracy. I looked at him. You didn't lose me because you cheated. He frowned, confused again. I continued. You lost me because somewhere along the way, you decided I was the kind of woman who would stay. That one shattered him. Not visibly, not dramatically, but internally, direct hit. Because cheaters often gamble on one thing: tolerance, your forgiveness, your emotional labor, your attachment. They bet on your capacity to absorb damage, and when you don't, whole system crashes. He stared at me like he was seeing a stranger. Maybe he was. Good. So was I. I got in the car, closed the door, started the engine, and drove away. No dramatic ending music, no tears streaming down my face, just road. Night. Forward. A month later, temporary orders became permanent. House secured, accounts separated, lawyers handling the rest. Rebecca vanished from the story completely. Honestly, very on brand. Cowards usually do. His family stopped calling after realizing guilt wouldn't be accepted as currency. Peaceful. Refreshing. Efficient. The divorce finalized 3 months later. No drama, no cinematic courtroom monologues, just signatures, paperwork, administrative closure. The most underwhelming ending to the most ridiculous chapter of my life. And yet, the morning it became official, I woke up feeling lighter than I had in years. Not because divorce is fun, it's not. It's paperwork with trauma seasoning. But because something had ended that needed ending. I made coffee, opened all the windows, fresh air flooding through rooms that finally felt like mine again. Not ours, mine. I changed the sheets, rearranged furniture, repainted the bedroom. Small changes, huge meaning. Space remembers things. Sometimes you have to teach it new memories. That night, I sat alone on my porch, wrapped in a blanket with a glass of wine. Street quiet, sky clear, phone silent. Beautiful silence. Not lonely, not empty, peaceful. Earned. That's the difference. People think strength looks loud, like revenge, like destruction, like making them hurt the way they hurt you. Sometimes, sure, but real strength, sometimes it's quieter than that. Sometimes it looks like paperwork, boundaries, silence, locked doors, a blocked number, a woman refusing to negotiate with disrespect. That's power too, maybe the most underrated kind. I didn't ruin his life. I didn't destroy his future. I didn't take anything from him that he didn't hand me himself. I just stopped protecting him from the bill. And eventually, everybody pays what they owe. That's the thing about consequences. They're never cruel, just punctual. The porch light clicked on automatically as the sun disappeared. I sat there a little longer, breathing, thinking, existing without tension for what felt like the first time in forever. And for once, silence didn't feel heavy. It felt expensive, like peace I had finally paid in full. The end.